Hi, Professor Young. This is Cole Simmons, or Christopher Simmons. I'm doing my topic on drugs and alcohol use. So, firstly, I want to talk about how drugs used kill people every year. You have people overdosing constantly, whether they're using heroin, meth, any kind of bad drug. Smoking weed, anything. It takes lives every single year. People get addicted to these things. Usually, the first time they try it. I know marijuana is different because people will try it and then they'll go about it and they'll think nothing's wrong with it, but actually it's a gateway drug because people that usually get stuck on doing marijuana will end up doing cocaine, meth, all the other hardcore stuff that will really change your life. And it's just not good because at the end of the day it takes lives and there's nothing benefiting from taking these drugs and abusing them, because you don't want to get, let's say someone smokes weed, okay, and eventually they go on and on about doing it every day. Like they'll go from doing it once a year to once a month to once a week and then once a day, and then over and over it just builds up and builds up and builds up. Eventually they get used to not having that drug and become addicted to it and they want something more, and that's when it's a gateway drug to higher things like cocaine and meth and all the hardcore stuff. So drugs are just not good. They change your life and they will take lives if you're not careful with it. That's how overdoses happen. The second thing I want to talk about is alcohol. People will go out, have a great time, and they'll drink. They'll drink one beer. Some will get really drunk, and if you hop behind a wheel, you are risking your life and everyone else's life, and you're putting it in danger because when you're driving drunk, how are you supposed to control what you're doing? You're not focused like you need to be. And when this comes into play, alcohol is just not good at all because it's okay to have a drink and all, but if you're going to abuse it and put your own life at risk and other people's lives at risk, it's a no-go. And the thing about this is people drink so much nowadays, they lose their mind and they lose track of how dangerous it actually is, and they think it's okay because they do it so much and so much. I mean, people will drink every day, every weekend, and they think it's fine because they're just going out having a good time, driving home drunk. And that the whole time if they get hit one time, bam, you get in a car wreck, even if it's not your fault. If you're drunk and you get in a wreck, you're getting DUI, and that's an automatic like $10,000 to $15,000, and that's not good. It will ruin your life. It will change your life. You get in a wreck, let's say it is your fault, and the person you hit, you take their life, and then you're gonna wake up the next morning when you're sober, and you're gonna say, okay, well, I just took someone's life because I was being an idiot and driving intoxicated. And that's something you would have to deal with for the rest of your life. And every year, you don't hear about people dying from marijuana use and all this. It's always DUI and alcohol abuse. People driving intoxicated and drunk takes lives. It's like 1 in 3 people that drive drunk will get a DUI. That is too high. That is too high. Every 1 out of 3 people that drive drunk get a DUI at some point in their life. That's not good. And most people that drive drunk like that, are doing this over and over and over and over again, constantly every day. So it's just not good. Let me make sure. Okay. Just making sure that was recording. Yeah, the thing about the DUI is it's expensive. Let's say you get a DUI, whether you get pulled over or in a wreck, you're gonna have to pay at least $10,000. And is that $10,000 to $15,000 really worth that one good time of just driving? Call an Uber for $7 for cheap. I mean, an Uber's under $10, you will get home safe. Don't get behind a wheel and risk paying $10,000 to $15,000 or risking someone else's life just because you're trying to have a good time. That's a life-changing thing, and it is something that will affect your life now and for the rest of your life. Fourth thing I want to talk about is addiction. Alcohol is not really like this. The first time you try something, alcohol, okay. First time you start drinking, it might be bad at first because some people drink alcohol, some people don't, but the feeling you get towards getting drunk like that, research has shown that people do it over and over and over again, and it becomes a habit. So for most people, it will turn it into something where the only way they can have fun is to drink like they do and to have that alcohol going for them and to drink all the time because they want that feeling of being drunk and having a good time because that's the only way they know how to have fun. And that is when you get addicted to it. And the same thing goes for drugs. you try a drug one time and you get that high, you want it again. So you will always take it because your body is feeling the need to capture that high and capture that drug over and over again, and eventually you catch yourself doing it to where you can't stop anymore. So addiction is just, you gotta be careful. If you're gonna try something, just don't do it. Just say no, because addiction is a real thing. It will change your life for the worse. And I even know personal friends, personal people, adults, family members that I have seen firsthand abuse drugs and alcohol, and it has changed their life for the good. So I won't be doing that. I know where my head is. It's not worth it to me. I've just seen it firsthand. It affects everyday Americans every day. Abusing these things ultimately are going to change your life. So what I would say is, at the end of the day, is just don't do it. Like, just don't try these drugs. Don't drink alcohol like that. Don't drive drunk. It is just life-changing, and you don't want to suffer from having to take out a loan to pay for a DUI or taking someone's life. That is the most important thing. You could be taking your life or someone else's life just because you're being stupid and driving intoxicated. So at the end of the day, I would just say, do not do drugs or alcohol. It will save your life, and just being sober is the best way to go. Because if you're sober, you know exactly what you're doing at all times. You're not risking your life. You have a clear head. So yeah, my topic was drugs and alcohol use, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you. Professor Young, Christopher Simmons.